Hey guys, and welcome to Captain Charlemagne's Models. I'm your Captain Charlemagne, so let's head over to the bench and see what we're doing for today's project.
Hey guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be continuing on our work with the S.S Avenger NX-09. But before we get on to the decaling of the upper saucer that we are going to do, I thought I'd take a moment to show you guys some progress that's been going on with the other parts of the NX. So as you can see here, we have the lower saucer now attached to the secondary hull section, and work has been, as you can see, some done here. We've added on the pylons that will be going on. So those pylons are actually, unlike how, I don't know, I believe he used from plastic silverware, Birdie over at Trek Mods used that. These are actually off of the 1 in 1000 TOS kit. So what I did was I took those and I took my hobby knife and I cut them off the piece, and then after making sure they were the same length, I added them on to the ship. I had to jerry rig a jig to be able to hold them up all night, and the same goes with the lower saucer, which got added on. Another bit of work that was done, turn this over like so, is, as you can see, we do have some of the decal here on one of the pendants on the starship. But something I want to drag your attention to is this. So on the regular decal, you normally have the Enterprise's name right underneath that pendant. What I had to do was, on the decal, you have to cut that piece off and then you have to add that on yourself. And believe me when I say that was a nightmare and a half to do. Another bit of work that was done here, turn it like this, is I did cut some of that overhang that exists on the right here where the sensory array / dome goes. Normally, let me see if I still have it in my drawer. So normally what goes on is, this is from an old NX build. So normally you have like a few more inches to that part, like on here. I cut off some of that so to give that array more space. Something I do plan on doing is I'm going to add something here later on. That way it'll be able to cover up some of the mistake, because I had to pry open the model. But that's not what we're here for today. Today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be decaling the upper saucer section. So I'm going to go for a few moments. I'm going to get that saucer, and then we will get started on what we need to do today. So be right back here in just a few moments. All right, and we are back. So let's go ahead and let's get started here. So the first one we are going to need decals 10, and we are going to need decals 11. So let's go ahead and snag those off the paper. set that to the side. And we're gonna start off with decal number 11. So I'm gonna flip the saucer around so we can get started. All right. And that decal is going to go right here. So, I believe I did mention it in the last video, but if I forgot to do so, forgive me. So what we're going to be doing once we finish off with our building of the Avenger is we are going to be moving into our Dreadnought. And so the Dreadnought is actually going to be different than what we did last time when we were working on it. So this Dreadnought build is actually going to be a 1 in 1000 scale, and we are going to be using the Strange New Worlds / Discovery Enterprise. The reason for that is after much debating it, I decided whenever you see a model on a Dreadnought, you normally see it done in the later refit. And I was actually following along that line. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and let's do it this way. And while we do have a model of the Federation class in its original configuration, I am going to be doing it very differently. You see, I found a photo that somebody made, and I decided I want to do it that way. So essentially it's a beefed up Connie, and it's pretty much the same as the Connie from Strange New Worlds, just with a third nacelle. So I'm going to be doing pretty much that. It's just I'm going to be adding my own little changes here and there for it. All right. So those are on. Next, what we're going to be adding is we are going to be adding the black bands here. Now, normally these are on the Terran variant, but there's a lot of stuff on the Terran variant that I want to add on to my own. So first, we are going to need 28A. All right. Okay. That's made. Wet. Now we are going to add on right here our water. So, give me one moment here, just trying to rotate it so I can get a close-up view of it. Like so. I'm going to carefully do that. And just mellow it out. Like so. Alright. So the next one is 29. A. Crap, just trying to cut this without cutting the actual decal. Alright. Let's see if I cut it enough to where I'm not having to worry about the decal being split. Okay, thank you, Lord. Alright. Process as before. Like so. Phew. And I will not deny that was kind of strenuous trying to get that one on. Alright. Alright. So next will be 30. So something I thought to do with this, and it will be added on, is we are actually going to be adding on a single phaser turret, for the phaser, not turret, basically what use phaser emitter, I believe. Is that the phaser? No, it'd be a phaser ball turret. Okay, so I was wrong. So we will be adding one of those on. So that is going to be pretty much, as in my head canon with this ship, is it remained in service and prototyped a number of different systems that be capable of fitting onto this vessel. One of those systems being the phaser emitter system that we would see later on in several starships that we would see over time in things like the Connie, Refit, and all of them would be seen here. Well, those, I believe they were a much, like I think, higher mark. So these are essentially a Mark 1 prototype system. There will be a single phaser emitter on this vessel. All right. The reason why I'm going with a single emitter rather than like 2 emitters is I just think that it fits. And the place we're going to be adding that emitter is literally going to be smack dab right here at the center of the hull. Now granted, I think somebody usually says where these black little panel lines right here on the side are, that's where the phasers are sometimes hidden in those. But I do not know if that is true or not. All right, next up is 31. Excuse me. All right. Set that in the water. There's my brush. There we go. All right. Now, slowly take you off. Like so. All right. And there we go. One side down, pretty much. That just leaves 34A on this side. So let's go ahead and we're going to add it on. Carefully getting it off. Don't get and seems like this one isn't actually a phaser mark, but actually a livery kind of line. Goes right here, like so. All right, now that marks that side being pretty much done. Now we are going to move to this side. So, something I just recently saw at Wonderfest, a number of people have uploaded their videos of things they saw there. And something I saw that I thought was cool was someone took the Discovery Enterprise and they built the USS Alliance from it. Which was a dreadnought. So I decided to look into that and found out that I believe the gentleman sells them, the STLs, not the actual kits itself, but you can get a 3D printed conversion for a dreadnought from ModelWorks for the conversion, and it's pretty nice. You get the secondary hull, you get some sensor pods, and you get a number of other add-ons such as the hangar bay and stuff like that, which I thought was very cool. All right, but yeah, there was a lot of cool looking models that were shown on display from what I saw in the video feeds that people uploaded. To my understanding, Polar Lights wasn't releasing anything really what I would consider new in terms of Star Trek. But that's just them. I think I saw something about some kind of spacecraft, but I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. Alright. Sure that was dumped properly. Okay, I did that most definitely wrong. I tried spreading that just there. I can't lift this without it getting all over my hand. Alright. There we go. Now, if only all sensory bands could be this easy. While doing decal work for the Warner Shipyards Neoconi, oh god, that was a nightmare and a half trying to get that thing straight. Wound up losing all the sensory bands for that, which in itself was kind of disappointing. All right, there we go. Had to separate that. But so yeah, there was that issue, and so far there we go. With that one, and now that just leaves, eesh, I got that wet right there. Which was something I did not want to do. Pardon me for a moment. There we go. Oh boy. So, it's moments like these that it's a good thing we have a spare. The reason why is because the one we just cut out for 31 kind of split in a small spot due to the piece getting wet. So, luckily for us, we do have a spare decal sheet. So that we can still use one. All right. There we go. And next, for the final step here on this part, is cutting out the other 34. So and there we go. That one is now on. So we're almost there. Move you back more centered so I can actually work right here. Next, we're going to cut this piece out. And this right here is most likely going to be one of the more difficult pieces to attach, in my humble opinion. So of course we're going to need plenty of water right here. Like so. Okay. Sorry if it's off screen. I'm just trying to more or less get this piece more on here, like so. All right. And I accidentally loosened that from its spot. All right. Okay. And there we go. There is a few minor imperfections here where this thing is, but it's better than what it could have been if I wasn't paying attention. So now that that's on, let's see. And it would seem that we got everything we're going to need for this episode of the Avenger. So, I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you all have a nice day. I hope you all have a nice week. And take care of yourselves. In the next episode, we will pretty much be doing some final cleanup work around the secondary hull and seeing how the model lights. But yeah, that's everything. This has been Captain Charlemagne, and I'm signing off. Ta-ta for now, everyone.